Hello folks, Jon Bushey here. This video is about some land and a house for sale in Dauin. It is 3 hectares, so it is big. 30,000 square meters at 1,000 pesos per square meter. So at today's exchange rate, that's about 555,000 US dollars. As you can see, the land is a great view of the mountains and there's a great view of the sea. The land is already mostly cleared and includes a house by a foreigner and a small house for a worker. This is a view of Oppo Island. Let me zoom in so you can see it better. If you build a 2-story house here, you could have great views in all directions. Oppo Island is one of the world's top-rated diving areas. My one reservation about this land is the road from the highway. The highway is a nice cement road. You can see here, this is the road leading off the mountain down into Dauin. But the dirt road goes from the cement road to here, which is close to the house. And it's really steep in some places. Now, the owner has promised that with a full price offer, he will build a cement road from the highway all the way to the house. By the way, the owner is a French Canadian. And that's the house behind those 2 vehicles there. And you can also see the sea. That dark blue area in the distance over there, that's actually the ocean. I'll stay by the road for a minute and show you that the current owners have put a lot of trees and bamboo. These are bamboo, the trees that they planted. And the reason they did that is to kind of shield the road, make it a little bit cooler and block the view from any neighbors. That is the workers' hut where they live. They kind of take care of the grounds and things like that. There is electricity to the property and there's internet. There's a fiber cable there too, so they have electric and fiber. Part of that might be due to the government building next door. Right over there, that big pit is part of a government building, and so that might be one of the reasons they have a nice concrete road and power and the internet. Now we're over by the main house, and again, they've planted a lot of trees. A lot of them are fruit trees. They had a reason for planting everything. There's another view of that government facility kind of across the valley over there. A lot of flowers and different things. They're very proud of the fact that they've done a lot of work to landscape all of this property. That government building is a recycling center, and it's not operational yet, but they're going to be starting recycling. Now we're down on the patio of the house looking up at the mountains, and you can see a lot more of the vegetation that's been planted. They do a lot of gardening. And in fact, as I turn over, you'll be able to see some potted plants there. And there's the sea again. And there are some raised beds that they've been using for gardening. Off the patio, it's nice that you've got a view of the ocean here, but also behind you, you've got a great view of the mountains. And there's those raised beds that they've been using for gardening. The house has been extended. You can kind of see that it's been added onto there, and that was going to be a greenhouse, but then they decided to instead use it as kind of a multi-purpose room. The house is nice. It's a little bit small, but very efficient. It's very nicely laid out inside. Now I've moved to the top of the property, the highest point of the property, and you can still see the ocean, the sea, from up here. They've done a great job clearing the property. You really have a great view all the way around. This tree looks like it's dead, but they told me it still gives fruit, so it's alive and growing. So when they were doing the landscaping, they kept the beneficial trees. They didn't cut those down. They left them in place, and they planted some new trees. And you can still see the mountain. You can see the mountain, and you still have the sea view. Now I'm about in the same place, but I'm going to walk towards the edge So this basically is the property line, and it drops off. There's a very steep cliff here. And so this property really is a bluff between two valleys. That's one valley, kind of on the right side if you were facing the sea. That's one of the trees they planted. They planted native trees, so the vegetation, everything they've planted will grow really well. And it's all beneficial. It's fruit or it's shade or something like that. This is more towards the middle of the property, showing you some view of the mountain. And upcoming is the helpers, kind of the caretaker's house. And then that's the government recycling facility. And then the main house is off to the right there. This is a little bit closer down to the bottom of the property, the lowest point, and you can still see the water. It's almost like 180 degrees that you can see the ocean from this property. And just through those trees there, you can see Oppo Island. Now I've moved down to the bottom of the property, the lowest part of the property, and that's a bunch of bamboo there. It's huge. You could use that to build a house, actually. And so now I'm looking back up towards the mountains and towards the upper part of the property. There isn't much change in elevation, by the way. So you could build a house very easily at any point on this property. That's the main house. That's the recycling center. And yeah, if you built a house, a 2 or a 3-story house, you'd have a great view all the way around. And there's Oppo Island again. So we need to discuss what's the best use of this property. And there's 2 uses that come to mind right away. The first one is simply build a house, 2 or 3-story house, and live there, and you'd have great views of the ocean, almost 180 degrees, but you'd also have the mountains. And so that it would be a great thing. It's a little bit too much land, though, for just one house. And so the owner had a plan to subdivide it, or at least sell some portions of the lot and put up houses. And so here's a little map that he put together of the property. The dark lines are roads, and the little squares, those are actual houses. And so that's another thing you could do. In fact, you could probably easily pay for this property just by subdividing and selling the little parts of land for each person to build their house. So there's a lot of possibilities for this land. My contact information is on the screen and it's in the description. So please reach out to me with any questions or comments. Thank you for watching.